All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makar, Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Allah Hakim out there that's doing the work. In sincerity and charity with humiliation all across the four winds. To you I salute. All right. Today, we normally go on the road, but due to inclement weather, we're not able to go out today. But anyhow, we're gonna continue to do the work anyhow. This weather ain't gonna stop nothing. So like I promised, to go into speaking in tongues, because me and the brother Desire One, we were squaring off a little earlier in the week, and that's how, this lesson arise, but anyhow, we're gonna go in depth, and we're gonna cover basically what the Christian call the heavenly language, all right, which the heavenly language is the truth, okay, and then we're gonna go into that speaking in tongues thing, that Hunter Matanda shit. We're gonna go into that in depth, then we're gonna break it down. So Lord willing, we hope that this lesson, be edifying. All right, so speaking in tongues, it ain't what the world think it is, all right, or what they make it out to be. It ain't nothing like that. To them, tongues is, they have that as a sign to say, well, the Holy Spirit is dealing with them, or a sign that you have a spirit. So they're going to go into you and show you that, that's far from the truth, but I just give a brief summary of that in a previous lesson so you could go back and check that when you have time, this speaking in tongues thing, the Most High language, as they call it, isn't a hard language that you can't understand. That's what people don't understand. You see what I say? That's what the church don't understand. All right, the Most High language is not a language that you can't understand physically. So his language you could understand. His words are plain. All right? Okay. But, all right, if you're not a part of the elect, the non-elect, will not understand it spiritually. Because you'll hear us use the term, well, this goes over your head. It'll be the same thing for them. But people could understand, when you read John 3:16, they could understand for God so loved the world. But they don't understand that, they don't understand the spiritual aspect of it. All right, again, which is that tongues. For God so loved the world, all right, they thinking that as far as worldliness, as far as everybody, all right, but the spiritual tongue, the heavenly tongue, we understand that that's speaking about a specific group of people, all right, there's two sides, and understanding the scriptures come two and two, all right, and it's physical on this end as far as everybody understand John 3:16, but the spiritual aspect, is going into elect. It's going into the elect, understanding it. All right, we understand the spiritual, the mysterious things, the mystery. All right, that's what everybody don't understand. It's like Yahushua tell his disciples, it is given unto you to know the mysteries. You see that? So that's another tongue. That's another language. All right, which that is the heavenly language, which is the truth. All right, and everybody ain't gonna understand the truth about the Bible. Everybody could read. All right, they could read it verbatim. That's it. See what I'm saying? In the physical. All right, but they can't see the spiritual. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and give you an example of that, all right, the heavenly language, like the church call it, So the first precept we're going to touch on is Revelation 13, all right, and 9, and someone could get John chapter 3, 24. 24?
13 and 9.
Yeah, we're in Revelation 13 and 9 first.
The book of Revelation chapter 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Can, if any man have an ear, let him hear. Now why would it say that? Right? Knowing full well that all men on the earth have ears. It's telling you spiritually, if you could understand what I'm about to tell you, if you could understand that. Alright? So that means everybody isn't going to understand. Alright? That's why when we speak the raw truth, when we speak the heavenly language, what people say, we crazy.
Can't grasp it.
You understand? They can't grasp it like the Archie say, because they don't understand. It is given unto you to know the mysteries. You see that? So we speak in the heavenly language, which they can't understand, regardless if they read it verbatim.
Right.
You see what I said?
But it's in dark sayings.
The dark say it can't. Alright? Read on.
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Can. So we understand that men, alright, have spiritual ears, and their spiritual ears are open. Alright, we understand that this is speaking about every other nation that had us in slavery.
Can.
You understand? Why? Because our ears is open. You tell the average church Jake that he ain't gonna understand that, he ain't gonna get it. Alright? So it's men on earth that is patiently waiting for payback. Alright? Because we understand the scriptures, what the scriptures is speaking about. So again, everybody can't understand the spiritual side of when the Lord speaks. Alright? And let's find out why. Alright, so if someone could look up the word tongue for me. Alright, in the Greek. Okay? Because right now what we do, and we speak in our heavenly language, which is the truth. What everybody can understand. Alright? Look that up in the Greek. We'll go get it in Acts 2 and 4.
Also,
Yeah, okay.
pull it up on my sword.
Okay. Alright.
Acts 2 and 4. Where you get it?
Yeah, okay.
You got it up?
You gotta either bring it.
Read Acts 2 and 4.
The
Right.
word tongue.
Alright. Tongues. Okay.
Alright, now we're going to bring out the definition of the word tongue.
Alright, it says here, glossa. It says the tongue, a member of the body, an organ of speech. A tongue, the language or dialect used by a particular person, people select, distinct from that of other nations.
Tongue, it says an organ of speech, language or dialect used by a particular people distinct from that of another nation. So what that is telling you is when someone is speaking in tongues, alright, it's speaking about another language, like someone being born in another nation. Alright, let's say like some so-called Chinese. Alright, when they born over there, what language they speak? They would speak their Mandarin, they would speak Chinese. Alright, we born on this side, alright, in the Bahamas, alright, we speak English. So that's what that is talking about. Alright, go ahead.
You know, like the ark was going into, you know, when it comes to plantation Christianity, they're speaking in tongues. This is their definition here. Speaking in tongues, also known as glossolalia, is a practice in which people utter words or speech-like sounds that some believe to be languages unknown to the speaker.
Can.
Ask them to translate what they tell you.
All that shit.
Can't. They don't know what it means.
I just say that I don't know what that means.
Can't.
Alright, and they equate that with having the Holy Spirit.
Can't.
Absolutely.
Alright, so now check this, right? Let's jump now to the book of John chapter 3. We're going to pick it up at verse 4.
This is John chapter 3 and verse 4. Nicodemus said unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
Can. You see that?
Can.
All right, now let's jump to verse 6. Check this out.
Verse 6. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit.
Can. You see that? So that's a clear separation right there. All right? And the two of them being born of the flesh and being born of the spirit. So the two of them being born. So if you are born of the flesh, you're going to be able to speak. Okay? And if you are born of the spirit, you're going to be able to speak. All right? Because what you have here is birth. All right? The two of them being born. All right? So now let's jump down to verse 9, right? What's this?
Verse 9. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, How can these things be?
Right? Read.
Yahushua answered and said unto him, Art thou a master of Israel, and knowest not these things?
Right, you see that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit.
Okay.
Now, check this. Nicodemus didn't understand the tongue that Yahushua was speaking in.
Doctor of the law.
You see what I said? He telling man how you being the master of Israel and you ain't know these things.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, but he wasn't understanding the spiritual talk that Yahushua was talking.
God. Going back to that precept that you brought out, Doc, was given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom. They never understand Yahushua.
Can. All right, so that's why I said the Bible, the scriptures come two and two. Same thing with tongues. You have the physical tongue and you have the spiritual tongue. Right now we speak in the spiritual tongue because we're giving you the truth. You see what I said? All right. But check this out, all right? Let's read on.
Verse 11. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness.
Can. Why? Because he didn't understand the tongue we were speaking in. All right, which means they didn't understand the spiritual aspect of the scriptures. They couldn't comprehend. They couldn't comprehend the truth. You see that? Okay, so this the heavenly language. Okay, the church people, you ask any average church Jake out there when they hear that riddling off and that garbage, all right, they'll tell you, man, that's the heavenly language. No, we speak in the heavenly language now. Even regardless of we speaking in English, we speak in the truth. All right?
Salakia. And don't care how it's being brought out, you know.
That's another thing, Khan. All right? Someone else could be saying the same thing we saying, but they could probably be speaking, let's say, in German or in Russian. That don't change that that's the truth. They only speaking it in a different language. You see that? So they can't understand the spiritual aspect of the truth. Because we speak in what? Two languages. We speak the physical language and we speak the spiritual language. Everybody ain't gonna understand the spiritual. That's why we start with Revelation 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. You see that? That's on the physical sense, and it's on the spiritual sense. All right? The physical aspect, yes, of course, everybody have two ears, but on the physical aspect, it's talking about understanding. See what I said? So Jacob, you're lost. These church people lost. You see, and you see, we ain't get down to actually dealing with that garbage they're riddling off. All right? We speak in tongues right now. All right? And they ain't going to understand. Check this out. Let's read on.
Verse 12. If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
That's it. You see that? Clear as day, man. All right? You know what this is? This is speaking about two different tongues right here. If I tell you of earthly things. All right? Read that again.
If I have told you, this John 3 verse 12. If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
Right, this is speaking about two different tongues because the two of them could be understood. One could be understood by everybody. All right, but everybody ain't gonna understand the spiritual aspect of it. Can.
Close. That's another thing.
All right.
You have to be chosen to understand that.
Can. All right. Which, that's the heavenly things now that Yahushua is speaking about.
Absolutely.
Which we making plain and speaking plain to the people.
God.
You see that?
Just like you say. You know, everyone can understand the verbatim, which means word for word. But not everybody can understand the spiritual.
Can.
Again, you have to be chosen for that.
Can. Everybody ain't gonna understand the spiritual or the heavenly things. So keep in mind, all it is language that is being spoken.
God.
So when you hear church person riddle that shit off, but ilabashanda, handa, tanda, all that shit, all right,
Garbage.
that's madness.
And they try to justify it using 1 Corinthians 12, calling it a spiritual gift.
That's it. But that definition, you going in there and Google that goes out on that, so you can bring that out again.
Okay.
It says here, speaking in tongues, also known as glossolalia. So we know, just a side note, that English is a derivative of Greek, because most of the things we are in English originated from the Greek.
Right. So to lock you at a very good odd, English is just a watered down version of the Greek.
Kind of.
Right, you
It
got
says
it.
speaking in tongues, also known as glossolalia, is a practice in which people utter words or speech like sounds that some believe to be languages unknown to the speaker.
Right. They like the ark was going into. All right. This is what they like to use 1 Corinthians 12 to justify them for this shit. Which that language is unknown to the speaker. Leslie. All right. So again, all this is language being spoken, and we speak in the heavenly language. All right.
You see, when they speaking in tongues, that's like they in religious ecstasy.
Yeah, he did that on that dude. Yeah, but I break that out, man. Just break that out. Got it.
You see, ecstatic speech, speaking in tongues.
All right. You got it. You bring it back. All right. So you got to that.
Yeah, because when we tell people about what thus said the Lord, what the scripture says, certain prophecies they wouldn't understand, right? Going into the two languages, right? The two tongues, right? This is 1 Corinthians 2:14. But the natural man receiving not the things, but the natural man receiving not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned.
Gone. So they ain't know what's going on.
Exactly.
All right. And they count what we saying as foolishness. That's why they say what we crazy.
Exactly.
And that's all because they don't understand. Like the ark said, it wasn't chosen. All right.
And to further go into that, it says here when they speaking in tongues, that's be ecstatic speech, and that says it reflects an almost universal view that at least in Corinthians, speaking in tongues or glossolalia means the broken speech of persons in religious ecstasy. If you know anything about the word ecstasy, that's when you're in that state, you don't know what's going on. So when they inside that religious ecstasy state, when they speaking all them random words, they can't interpret it.
That's it.
It has no meaning.
There's some devilish shit, man. There's demon shit.
But as for us who in the truth, when we inside that state is that when the spirit hits us, we could translate and bring forth the fruits that's given to us spiritually. You see?
Which we're gonna touch on that a little later, because when the Holy Spirit come on you, you're gonna prophesy.
Absolutely.
All right. And for you to have that spirit, it's the spirit of Yahushua. All right, and his words are plain. Okay, so let's jump from there to Ezekiel chapter 3. All right, on verse 1. All right, and give you another example.
All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 3 and 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou find Salakia, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel.
Done. So what he is speaking about, so is he speaking about a physical role? You see that? This right here is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you don't understand the scriptures, you ain't gonna understand that a roll means the entire Bible.
Okay.
See what I said? Anybody could read this. But is he talking about an actual roll? No. Are you eating a physical, eating the entire Bible? You see what I said?
And Salakia, there was a man who ate the whole book of Kings, and then I'm killing myself.
You see what I said? All right. All right, now you have that spirit on you, and that spirit is gonna allow you to understand the spiritual things of the book. That's all it's talking about. All right, and when you get all this understanding, go and speak to the house of Israel. That's all he's telling Ezekiel. Look, study my word. I can put the spirit on you for you to understand. And when you get the understanding, you go to my chosen people and tell them, thus said the Lord.
God.
That's all Ezekiel is saying. Okay? Let's read on. What's this?
Verse 2. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll.
Can. All right, and that's the whole Bible.
Can.
Now he understands. So now he is going to speak the things of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right? His words. He's going to speak his words. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai words to the house of Israel. All right? And only some of the people who you're going to be speaking to is going to understand these words. That's it. Again, and this is also a cut, all right, to Christianity, which that's another lesson, all right? I can touch that too tough. Okay?
Open my mouth, that's opening the understanding.
Again. All right, let's read on.
Verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Gone. All right. And I fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee, right? He's telling him that the spirit I'm going to put on you is going to cause you to speak everything that I want you to say, all right, to my chosen people. All right. It's the same way with Moses. You see what I'm saying? When, with the burning bush. When Moses tell the Most High, man, I can't speak. You know, I can't speak eloquent words. The Most High told Moses, well, hey, man, look here. I control your tongue. So the things you're going to say is what I want you to speak. Because why? My spirit is going to be on you to understand and speak the words that I tell you to say to my chosen people. All right? That's another tongue. But guess what? It's all spiritual.
Okay.
See what I said? So again, that's a cut. All right, too. These people would be riddling off that shit. All right, because anytime they say the so-called spirit on them hit them, they start to prophesy. But you're supposed to speak the words of the Most High.
Can. That's the
All
spirit
right.
of prophecy.
Can. Which I can get a quick precept to back that up. Give me 2 Samuel 23:2. Okay? Because anytime you so-called have the spirit on you, you ain't gonna riddle off that shit and keep saying Jesus a million times. No, that ain't damn the spirit.
Can. It's like in Samuel 23:2. The spirit of Yahweh spake by me, and his word was in my tongue.
You see that? So anytime the Most High take hold of you, guess what? You're gonna speak his word, what is written. And his word was in my tongue. So you mean to tell me now when these people riddling off all that madness, you can understand what they're saying? Is the Most High word in their tongue? No.
God.
You see that?
God.
It's clear as day, man. So these people don't understand what the hell they saying. All right. So read that part. Salaki. Let's go back to Ezekiel.
3:3.
Yeah, 3:3 again.
It says, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Right. And it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. But he just tell him to eat this whole roll.
God.
You see that? So it was in his mouth for sweetness. So that means what? He understand. Okay? The scripture in Psalm say what? Taste and see that the Lord is good.
God.
All right? So he understand all that he had to say was from the Most High Power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to the children of Israel. That's it. Okay, and that's another thing. Anytime you pick up this Bible to read, you're supposed to only be dealing with the children of Israel.
God.
That's it. No other people. All right. So let's read on.
Verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them.
You see that? Speak with my words unto them.
God.
So all that garbage, under Madonna, Jesus, 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 they go to like say.
God.
All right, that ain't the Most High word. So why would he be speaking? And it just says, right, speak my words. So speak what is written in the scriptures, man. All right. And that's because the Lord put his spirit on Ezekiel, and he tell Ezekiel what to say. All right. This is the spiritual side. This is the heavenly language now.
God.
All right. This is what tongues is. Speaking the truth.
God.
And it's spiritual, and everybody ain't going to be able to understand it. All right. This is what the Christian means by the heavenly tongue. Because if you ask them to break it down, they can't do it. They'll only tell you it's the heavenly language or the language of the angels. You see what I said?
Ain't got no understanding on that either.
God. All right.
Language of the angels is the Lashu and Kadash.
God.
The holy tongue.
God. All right. God. All right. Let's read on.
Verse 5. Ezekiel 3 and 5. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel.
Why? Why? Because Israel is his people. This is the nation that he belongs to. I'm not sending you to no damn foreigners. I'm sending you to the people who gonna know and understand what you're talking about. All right? Clear as day. But these Christians, they don't understand that. All right? They don't understand that.
God.
Okay? Why? Because it's given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them, you know, it ain't given. Okay, so from there, let's jump to Matthew chapter 13 and 10. All right.
This is the book of Matthew 13 and 10. It reads, And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Can.
God.
You know what a parable is? A deep dark saying or a mystery
Or riddles?
or riddles. Right. All right. So why would the disciples be saying that? Because they know what Yahushua was speaking about. They know what he was talking about.
God.
All right. But the other people didn't understand the dark saying or the mystery. Two different languages. You see that? So when we speak on the word tongues, all right, it's language that could be understood. All right, but you just don't understand it. So when we break down the scriptures to certain people, for example, when we tell people that the Lord only dealing with the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, they got a problem with that. They don't understand that. They think the Lord is for all.
The next language, which is the truth.
You understand? They just don't understand it. Just like when you say John 3:16, everybody think that that's talking about the entire world.
How it make any sense?
Right, but they don't understand that that ain't talking about the entire world. Because when you look up the word world in the Greek, you get 3 different definitions. Oikumene, cosmos, and eon.
Okay.
When you look it up in the English, you have 23 different definitions. But you can't tell them that. They ain't gonna understand that. Okay? Yeah, man. But check this out. Let's read on.
Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
Can. You see that? And these are his disciples, man. They were his chosen elect. All right? These men were chosen to give this truth. Who the Most High chose to give this truth to. They understand. All right? And it's the same thing today. All right? So when we speak in tongues, it truly means that we are speaking the heavenly language. All right? We are singing a new song. All right? Which the world cannot understand. You see that? We singing this new song, man. They can't understand. They can't understand that who the world ignorantly called God, his name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. All right, they don't understand that he looked just like us.
I was about to say, God, they can't accept that, you know?
Can't. All right, they can't accept that he's coming back to save his people, the Israelites.
That's it.
Only the Israelites.
That's it.
You understand? They can't understand that the Haitian, Jamaican, Chinese, Japanese, that all these is just bywords.
Okay.
You understand?
That tells you too why Esau do a damn good job, because he got Jake scared to even be in power, boy.
Can.
Jake scared to embrace their heritage. They scared to embrace the heritage of being an Israelite.
Yeah, man. All right? They can't understand that he's coming back to save only his people,
Okay.
his chosen elect. And only his chosen elect will understand this speech or this tongue that I'm speaking in.
Okay.
All right, which is the heavenly language, which is the truth.
Okay.
All right? Jago, you call us crazy when we out there on the highways and byways spitting this raw truth. You understand, in our day-to-day lives, when we have